Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is out! JRPG from Monolith, sequel to, wait for it, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I know, it's a shock. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was a good game, so you would have thought that 3 would also be good. And well, it is! It's a good game, but man does my brain not like some aspects of it. But let's first talk about my first impression of the game. This is not a full review, this is just an impression, okay? So calm down. This game is essentially an offline MMORPG, the same like the other games in the series, especially in terms of its gameplay. You have enemies you can aggro, it's all about time skills similar to WoW and such, and it works very well. And since I love MMORPGs and I have no friends, this really works for me. What I like about this game compared to the other two, where first Xenoblade completely doesn't have it, second one had it kind of, is that you can very easily switch between the characters. And this game is all about that. So switching between this huge roster of characters that you have is very important because you can utilize their skill to the fullest. Similar to actual MMORPGs, your party consists of characters of different classes that have different skills. You know, tanks, healers, etc. And because you play alone, there's no multiplayer aspect of this game. AI actually controls the other characters, and it does kind of a good job overall. However, it's not perfect, so you have that ability to switch between the characters and, for example, heal up a character that the AI was ignoring or use their special skills. So that is very cool. I like that. All characters also have special attacks, and they can do fusion thing like in Dragon Ball, but instead of becoming like a cool blend of Goku and Vegeta, you become a mech of some sorts. I'm not a huge fan of mechs, but they look kind of cool. They kind of look like enemy from Power Rangers, so you know what, I'll let it pass. And it heals up your party, so I do it mainly for that. Overall, the Xenoblade Chronicle games are very polished JRPG, with interesting story, exploring some interesting themes, like this one explores the pointlessness of war and death and, you know, rituals of death. It's very interesting. It has great combat, very interesting open world, and it all sounds great. But this game is pure hell to minds like mine. See, to understand what I mean, you need to understand my brain. So my brain feels like hive full of Barry B. Bensons on Red Bull and Adderall. It's chaos, and it is often hard to, in that chaos, put something else in for the brain to actually focus on. Especially if there's too much tutorial and text. And it doesn't help that half of the tutorials and the speaking is done with voices, other half is done with text. I don't know why they feel the need to do that in JRPGs, that you have a moment where there's a cutscene, they all speak, and then suddenly it switches to text, just to switch the cutscene where they speak again, and that distracts me so much. Also, it takes roughly around 15 hours of pure tutorial, tons and tons of exposition to get to the open world part of this game. There are times you have like 4-minute cutscenes just to learn about, let's say, gem cutting, which is one of the mechanics in the game. It is quite impressive that they put in so much work into just making mechanics of this game work with the lore, and all of them have backstories, have characters that explain how it works, have a little, you know, banter about this. But for me, it meant that I almost stopped playing this game, as I just keep hitting that exposition wall where I just want to play. I keep hitting tutorials, keep hitting story elements, and I like story in the game, but this story is much more bleak from the beginning than previous game, and it just did not grip me because it just feels that stakes in the story were already very high, and it just threw me into the action and everything like straight away, and I just didn't know what was happening, and I just couldn't pay attention because of this constant walls and constant like text and it's just confused me and lost my interest completely. To explain how I felt, it's like if you jump into a deep water, not being able to swim, and then try to learn how to stay afloat with your instructor standing. Breath of the Wild really suit me, as it's quite open from the start and you are given space and time to learn stuff, to explore, to try out the mechanics by yourself. Same with Sims, Minecraft and other more open-ended games. That's why I like them so much, I think, because they suit my brain, basically, and my learning style. And Xenoblade, it feels kind of like this when you pass all of this, and when it opens up. It does feel that you have much more freedom, you can go around in your own pace. But you have to pass this certain wall, which I think a lot of people will find very hard to climb over. Because it's just a lot. And I just got distracted too easily, and I just felt that I was just thrown in deep water way too quickly. Don't take me wrong though, this game is very good. The world of Xenoblade is very interesting, the lore is cool, the world is fun, the gameplay is great. It's also nice, it shows you the trail you can follow to your goal, which is very good in a multi-level open world design. It was a problem in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I was always getting lost, here I don't. So I love it, it's like in Xenoblade Chronicle X, so that's a very big plus for me. It is, at the end of the day, offline MMORPG, which is like basically a game design for me, as I love MMOs in terms of the gameplay, the structure, but I just don't like being social in games, and again, no friends. So it's a win-win for me. I also think it looks much better than previous games, like both Xeno 2 and Xeno 1 Definitive Edition were games that really showed that we need Switch Pro. They just both suffered on handheld so much with its texture quality, the resolution was horrible, but this game actually holds up very well in both modes. I would say this game is definitely great, and it's worth suffering through its initial wall just to get to that amazing world, cool side mission and great combat. There are too many battles, I have to say, sometimes, and it's a good thing that you can just run through them, but it also gets me a little boring. But overall, the combat is super good. But again, it's 15 hours that you might potentially have to suffer. Like, it took me so long to get to that point, so many days, because I just couldn't play for an hour straight, because my brain just couldn't handle it. However, it is a 200 hour game for many people. So 15 hours of that not being great, it's still a good bang for your money, so I would recommend it. But if you do feel that this is a little bit too intimidating, I would really recommend Xenoblade 2, because I felt that had much better pacing from the start. It had tutorials, but it let you explore a little bit more, and I didn't feel as pressured as I did in this game. But yeah, it's not a review, it's an impression. I hope you liked it. I still have lots to go with this Xenoblade, so who knows, maybe one day I will do a summary of what I thought of this game after I finished it, if I ever finish it. But I did really like what I played so far, and I will play it still. Do let me know what you will do with this game. Are you buying it, or is your brain like mine and you want to just avoid that kind of torture? And if you liked this video, press the like button. If you didn't, send it to your enemy to make them suffer as well. And subscribe, because at 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing giveaways. At 10,000 subscribers, I will show my face. On 100,000 subscribers, I don't know. I will fly you to the moon. Potentially. In Minecraft. Anyway, that's all from me, and I see you next time. Bye!